I want to start today with a business offer. It's a serious proposition. Cash on the table.
Oh, okay. I'm always listening when there's cash involved. What's the deal?
Okay, so picture a briefcase. Inside, there's, let's say, 20,000 pounds, dollars, whatever you want. It's yours tax-free right now.
Okay.
But there is a catch.
There's always a catch.
In exchange for the briefcase, I need to surgically remove one of your eyes.
Wow. Okay, that took a dark turn immediately. The answer is absolutely not. Keep the briefcase. No.
You're a tough negotiator. Right. Let's up the stakes. Double it. 40,000. But for that price, I take both eyes.
Nope.
You go blind, you get the cash, or, tell you what, keep your eyes. I'll give you 40,000 for your tongue.
I see where you're going with this. And honestly, you could put 40 million on the table. There is no price tag, none, that would make me say, sure, take my sight, I don't need it.
Exactly. And that instinctive refusal, that feeling that your body is priceless, that's the anchor for our deep dive today. We're looking at a sermon, a bayan, by Dr. Hafiz Suleiman Misbahi.
And the title is Be Grateful for Allah's Blessings.
Right, but if you're expecting some gentle, Sunday school lecture on saying please and thank you,
Yeah.
you're going to be very surprised.
Yeah, this is not about manners. This is,
Yeah.
it's like forensic accounting.
Right. Dr. Misbahi approaches gratitude almost like an auditor looking at a bankrupt company. He explores the psychology of value, the metaphysics of trust, what's called tawakkul.
And this just bizarre human tendency we have to feel completely broke.
While sitting on millions of dollars worth of biological assets.
It's a total reality check. And our mission here is really to look at the stories he uses, which are amazing. They range from ancient mystics to the Prophet of Islam to pandemic slogans.
To understand why we are so obsessed with the one thing we're missing that we completely ignore the 1,000 things we have.
And it all kicks off with that grisly negotiation you just tried on me.
It does. It comes from a story Dr. Misbahi tells about the legendary poet and mystic, Sheikh Saadi.
Sheikh Saadi is a titan in this tradition. He's known for being incredibly wise, but also distinctively witty.
And in this story, a man comes to him in just a state of total despair, crying, wailing, telling the sheikh he is ruined.
Ruined, he says he has nothing.
But Dr. Misbahi points out this hilarious, almost dark detail here. The man says he's been eating God's blessings until his teeth broke.
Which is such a vivid image. I mean, it implies he's lived a life of such excess, such consumption, that his body is literally wearing out from enjoying it.
And now that he's hit one rough patch, he feels like a pauper.
And this is where Sheikh Saadi just flips the script. He doesn't hug the man. He doesn't say, there.
No, he gets strictly business. He basically starts a bidding war for the man's body parts.
Right. He puts the imaginary knife on the table, asks for one eye for a huge sum. The man refuses.
Asks for both eyes. The man is horrified. Asks for the tongue.
And the man is just getting offended now. He's like, no, are you crazy? These things are priceless. I wouldn't trade them for the world.
And that's the trap. Sheikh Saadi looks at him and just delivers the verdict. He says, "You shameless man. You are sitting here admitting you possess assets worth a fortune, yet you have the audacity to say God has given you nothing."
It completely dismantles the man's logic, We calculate our net worth by looking at a screen, our bank balance, our portfolio.
But the argument here is that your net worth has to include your biology.
And Dr. Misbahi adds this really emotional layer. He says, if you think this is just a metaphor, go do some market research. If you want to know the market value of a tongue, don't ask a linguist.
Go ask a mute person.
That hits hard. It just shifts your whole perspective.
It does. He says, if you want to value your eyes, don't ask an optometrist. Look at the tears of a blind person who would give their entire life savings just to see the sun for 5 minutes.
And this is what we're calling the accounting of gratitude. The argument is gratitude isn't about getting what you want later, it's about realizing the immense value of the basic equipment you have right now.
It's like driving a Ferrari but having a meltdown because the radio has static.
Exactly. And the source cites a specific Quranic promise that's basically an economic formula. If you are grateful, I will give you more.
But the inverse is the scary part.
Right. The implication is, if you can't appreciate the millions of dollars worth of equipment you already have, why would the universe or God trust you with more? You don't get a promotion for being a bad manager.
You get demoted, you spiral lower. Which, speaking of the spectrum of suffering, the speaker transitions from this hypothetical accounting to a historical reality check.
Yeah, and this is where it really pivots from an intellectual exercise to something much, much deeper. He contrasts the man with broken teeth with the life of the Prophet Muhammad.
This detail really stuck with me because it's so specific. The Prophet's wife, Aisha, says that 3 moons would pass, so 3 full months,
3 months.
without a fire being lit in their house.
And no fire in 7th century Arabia didn't mean they were ordering cold sandwiches. It meant no bread could be baked, no meat could be cooked.
But what were they even eating?
Water and dates. For months. This wasn't some trendy intermittent fasting diet. This was subsistence living.
And yet, and here's the contrast that defines the whole thing. Dr. Misbahi describes how the Prophet would spend his nights during this time.
You'd expect him to be conserving energy, sleeping off the hunger.
Instead, he was standing in prayer for so long that his feet and shins would physically swell up.
So on one hand, you have a man complaining because his teeth broke from gluttony, and on the other, a man whose feet are swelling from devotion despite hunger.
Aisha actually asks him about this, right? She sees the swollen feet. She knows he's considered sinless. She asks, why? Why do you take on this hardship when you've already made it?
And his answer is the definition of this mindset shift. He doesn't say, I'm praying for more food or to escape poverty. He just says, should I not be a grateful servant?
That just stops you in your tracks. Usually we think gratitude is a reaction. You gave me a bonus, thanks. Here, gratitude is a state of being. It's independent of the menu.
It's unconditional. And just to make sure we don't get too high and mighty about our own suffering, Dr. Misbahi drops this absolute hammer of a comparison involving a donkey.
I loved this part. It's so blunt, but it just cuts through all the noise.
He says the greatest kindness of God is simply that he made you a human.
He could have made you a donkey.
That's the line. Go ask a donkey how he feels.
It sounds funny, but if you really think about it,
It's the existential lottery. You have consciousness, you have agency, you can understand art, humor, the divine. You can listen to this. You aren't a beast of burden born to carry bricks until you die.
he's stripping gratitude down to the bare metal.
Yeah.
If you're human, you're already in the 1% of existence.
So we've established we have valuable eyes, we aren't donkeys. That's the baseline.
But then the sermon goes into what I think is the most complex part of this concept of tawakkul, or reliance. And he tells a story about a Sufi mystic named Baba Farid that honestly, it kind of breaks your brain a little.
It challenges the logical mind, big time. So, Baba Farid Ganshikar is a major figure in Sufism. The speaker says he had total mastery over his ego. He settled his desires.
So the setup is simple. Baba Farid is traveling, he's thirsty, he finds a well, he looks down, sees water. Great.
Not quite. There's no pulley, no rope, no bucket. A well without a rope is just a deep hole with a taunt at the bottom.
Right, you can see the relief, but you can't get to it.
Hmm.
So, being a mystic, he sits down to do zikr, to remember God, trusting the situation will sort itself out.
And while he's sitting there, a herd of deer shows up.
Now pay attention to the mechanics here. The deer arrive, they're thirsty, they look at the well.
And the source says the water miraculously rises, it just bubbles up to the brim.
Super convenient.
The deer drink their fill, they turn around, and they leave.
So Baba Farid sees this and thinks, okay, the system works. He goes to the edge of the well to drink. And as soon as he gets there,
Water recedes, right back down to the bottom.
imagine the frustration. You're a holy man, and God just gave concierge service to a bunch of deer but left you thirsty.
It feels personal. And the speaker says this is when the whisper of Satan creeps in. Look at that. God denied you, but gave to the animals.
It's a crisis of faith. Why did the system work for them and not for me?
So he banishes the thought, but he asks God directly, I tried, nothing. Deer came, water rose, I tried again, it went down. What is the secret?
And the answer he receives, this is the nugget of the whole episode for me. The voice tells him, Farid, you came relying on the rope and the bucket. The deer came relying on me.
And that is the critical distinction. It's the difference between relying on the means, the tools, the technology, and relying on the source of the means.
Wait, let's unpack that. Because he didn't have a rope, he was just looking for one.
Exactly. But his mind was looking for the rope. His internal logic was, to get water, I require a pulley. The deer, they have no concept of pulleys.
They don't understand hydraulic mechanics.
They just have this innate biological trust that sustenance exists. So because Baba Farid was mentally attached to the tool, he was being tested on that attachment.
So he was blocked. The deer had no barrier, so they had direct access.
That is mind-bending. It's saying that sometimes our own logic, our insistence on knowing how we're going to solve a problem, is the very thing that blocks the solution.
The speaker isn't saying, don't use ropes. If you have a rope, use it. He's saying, don't worship the rope. Don't think the rope is the creator of the water.
Exactly. When the tool is missing, do you panic? Or do you trust the one who made the water in the first place?
It's a lesson in detachment. And that theme of trust paying off in ways logic can't predict leads to the final story. And this one plays out like a spiritual heist movie.
I love this one. It's about Mansur bin Amr. He was a famous preacher. One day, a beggar asks him for 4 dinars. Mansur doesn't have it, so he tells the crowd, whoever gives this man 4 dinars, I will make 4 specific prayers for him.
It's a transaction. Cash for prayers. And passing by is a slave. He's carrying money for his master's party. It's not his money.
Which makes this incredibly risky. If he gives this away, he's going home empty-handed to an angry master. He could be beaten.
But he hears the offer, 4 prayers from a holy man, and he takes the bet. He hands over the 4 dinars.
So Mansur asks him, okay, what do you want? And the slave has a list ready. Wish number 1, freedom.
Logical. Wish number 2, restitution. He wants God to replace the money so he doesn't get in trouble.
Very practical. Wish number 3, repentance. He wants his master to stop drinking alcohol.
Which is so interesting. He's caring for the soul of his own oppressor.
And wish number 4, forgiveness. For everyone. Himself, the master, Mansur, the whole crowd.
A total coverage policy. Yeah. So Mansur makes the prayers. The slave goes home. He's late. The master is furious.
Where have you been? Where's the money?
The slave decides to just tell the truth. I traded the 4 dinars for 4 prayers. The master pauses.
Yeah.
He's intrigued by the audacity. What were the prayers?
The slave says, first, I prayed for my freedom. And the master, moved, says, done, you are free.
Just like that. 1 down. What was the second? That God replaces the money. The master hands him 4,000 dinars.
1,000 times return on investment.
2 down. What was the third? That you stop drinking. The master instantly smashes his wine bottles and vows to never drink again.
3 down. But now comes the 4th. The slave says, I prayed that God forgives me, you, and everyone else.
And this is where the master hits a wall. He starts crying. He says, I have done what was in my power. Freedom, money, breaking the bottles. But forgiveness, that is up to God.
He recognizes his limit. He's a powerful master, but he's not the divine. He goes to sleep that night feeling helpless about that last one.
And the source says he has a dream. He hears a voice saying, you, a weak human, did what was in your power. Do you think I, the Lord of the worlds, will not do what is in mine? I have forgiven you, the slave, and everyone present.
It connects right back to the Baba Farid story. The master realized the limit of his rope, his human power. But because he acted with generosity within those limits, the divine stepped in to handle the impossible part.
It's just a chain reaction of goodness. But Dr. Misbahi doesn't leave us there in the ancient world. He brings this right into the 21st century. Specifically, how we deal with fear. He brings up the pandemic.
Right, he critiques a very specific slogan that was popular everywhere, really. Don't fear, fight it.
Oh yeah, we heard that everywhere. War on the virus. Fight the invisible enemy. Very martial language.
And Dr. Misbahi just tears this apart with simple logic. He asks, how can you fight something you can't see? You can't punch a virus. You can't intimidate a calamity.
He argues that this arrogant language of fighting actually creates more anxiety because we're trying to use our rope, our physical force, on something that's out of our control.
That's the friction point. If you try to box with a ghost, you're just going to get exhausted and terrified. His proposed alternative is, don't fear, reconcile with your Lord.
Reconcile. That's a very different vibe from fight.
It shifts the focus. When you're facing an invisible, overwhelming force, the response isn't outward aggression, it's inward introspection. It's about fixing your relationship with the source.
So he's reframing helplessness. We hate feeling helpless. But he's arguing that admitting you're helpless against a virus is the first step to connecting with the power that isn't helpless.
It's the Baba Farid lesson again. Stop looking for the pulley or the weapon and rely on the source. It moves you from panic to peace.
So let's just recap this journey. We started with a guy negotiating the price of his own tongue to realize he's a billionaire in biological assets.
We saw the Prophet of Islam finding gratitude even when his feet were swollen and his stomach was empty, teaching us that gratitude is a mindset, not a transaction.
We saw a thirsty mystic learn that relying on tools and logic can actually block the flow of help.
And a slave whose risky bet on God liberated an entire household.
Dr. Misbahi's ultimate point seems to be that our logic, our constant need to count the beans, find the rope, fight the enemy, is often what limits us.
Logic is useful for building a bridge, sure, but it can be a terrible master for the soul. Logic tells the man he's poor because he has no cash. Trust overrides that to reveal an abundance that was there the whole time.
So here is the question I want to leave you with today. And it's a weird one. In your own life, right now, are you the person looking for the pulley?
Or are you the deer?
What ropes are you relying on? Your job title, your savings account, your 5-year plan that might actually be keeping the water out of reach?
Sometimes you have to stop looking for the bucket to let the water rise.
That's it for this deep dive. Thanks for listening.
Thank you.